had a process for some time that frankly hasn't had a lot of transparency to it, and in that whenever the governor would send or the other appointing person would send a message to the Senate for a particular office to have that person confirmed, we didn't have any paperwork that was really available for public consumption. So we were trying to move through our rule changes toward a more transparent confirmation process. And so what we've done is we've put in place in the rules that we've adopted last week, Senate Rule number 2. And what Senate Rule number 2 attempts to do is to replicate how legislation would appear on the General Assembly website, in that if you're interested in a piece of legislation, it has a bill number, you can go to the website, you can pull it up, you can check its status, and you can follow it all the way through. So with that model and with that in mind is what we attempted to do with appointment messages. We have a handout, and under the old appointments process, appointment messages that were filed by the governor and other officers were simply in paper format, and they were only available in the the Senate Journal Room. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a specific message with a specific form, which is in Senate Rule 10-2, which states you have to have one person per message, the title of the office, their address, their salary, and have all of that information in a form that could then be finally uploaded onto the Senate website. But to make it clear, just like with a bill, the appointment message would appear on the website once it's been read by the Secretary of the Senate. So you may notice when we have our proceedings, we'll have sometimes an order of business where we'll say, Madam Secretary, messages from the governor. And when she reads a message, she'll say, I received a message from the governor appointing so-and-so to office. Once that name has been read into the record, it would get a number, so appointment message 1, or the designation like a Senate bill, SB 1, it would be AM 1. So that message, once it's been read by the Secretary of the Senate on the General Assembly website. Under the old rule, we really didn't have this index system at all. Now we're going to have one. Under the old rules, you could have one message with multiple people on it. And so it was very difficult, I know, for members of the press to try and track who was appointed in what message when. You may have an appointment message that had one person, or it had 3 different individuals. Not necessarily 3 individuals for the same office. They could have been 3 individuals for very different offices, or not the same offices whatsoever. So what we have done in our rule is that each appointment message will contain one nominee, and this will allow the public to know the number of appointees that are nominated for Senate confirmation. So there will be a laundry list, and you can click on each one of them on the website. And this way you can have a better way to track when we have our hearing process. Okay, appointment message number 5 is up. That is for the Illinois Commerce Commission appointee. That's going to be the hearing for that individual. And that particular appointment message will appear on the calendar that the Senate publishes. We'll have the Senate calendar like we have for bills. It'll have committee hearings on the back, and then it has a list of all of the bills. It'll also include a list of all the appointment messages that would be up for the particular meeting of the executive appointments. Under the old rules, the governor's office and the various appointing officers, they really had their own forms, and some of these forms didn't have uniform information. We felt that it was better for the public, better for the process, that we have a standard set of information of what each appointment message should look like, and so we put that in our rule, and that's one of the other changes. Unlike before, the governor would not simply be able to utilize that form in our rule and produce it him or herself. He would have to go down to LRB or his staff and have that document prepared by the Legislative Reference Bureau.